Mic check, mic check. Hey, everybody, and good morning. Welcome into the live pre-market review. Can you all see my screen okay, and can you hear me okay? Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, we are on the daily time frame here, and we're looking at SPY. SPY. So what do we have going on? It is a range within a range. We know that. SPY's most recent price action, this is yesterday's price action, breaks the range at 690. And, you know, when I went back and did my after the fact analysis and journaling my trades and all that, and I'm looking back at the watch list and the watch list results, there was no reason for me to not take SPY yesterday. Normally, I'm not a SPY trader. I really don't like trading it a whole lot. I just feel like there's too much there's too many variables that affect the price action of SPY, and so it just feels safer for me to trade something else. But when there's a good setup presented on SPY, I need to be aware of that, right? And I need to take advantage of that. And yesterday during the live trading, when SPY broke 690 and a half, I hesitated over here. When SPY pushed up and broke 690 and a half and pulled back, I hesitated. And this would have been any entry over here would have been really nice for the move up into the high of day. What I failed to do was I failed to recognize the magnitude of the setup on the daily, which is this was a range breakout. Even though it's within a range, this minor range still was breaking. The resistance, the static resistance was still being broken. So I have to take accountability when I see it, when I mess up, when I make mistakes, when I fail to recognize something. And I'd like to do that now. You know, I want to say that I missed it. I should have. I really do think that knowing that NVIDIA had earnings yesterday afternoon pushed me off of a lot of names, because NVIDIA was also a really high quality setup, and I didn't trade that one either. And my failure to just recognize the magnitude of those two setups between SPY and NVIDIA caused me to have a red day yesterday. And so I have to accept that fact, right? But the good thing is I don't have to beat myself up over it. I just have to accept it. I got to recognize it, and I just need to make it a point to do better, not to be complacent, to not be scared, to trust my analysis, because it was good stuff, and those trades both worked. So why didn't I take them? All right, so we start with SPY. Given that we've got the range breakout inside of a range, top side today is just a continuation. So we're looking for the long idea after above your pre-market or after hours high, which is 695 roughly. It's a slight gap up this morning, but the analysis here is very straightforward and very simple as well. Now, as far as the short level goes, what makes the most sense is that if 690 was a prior point of resistance, excuse me, then it should be, when it's broken, it should be a new point of support, correct? So if this is going to be a new point of support, that becomes our short level below. So SPY is a long idea above 695 today. It is a short idea below 690. So very straightforward. You have to do a little bit of analysis here, but I don't think that these concepts are hard to understand. So these are our two levels for SPY. This is what we're rocking with. Apple, next one on the watch list. Okay, yeah, I mean, you could see what's going on here, right? 275 acted as a point of resistance here. 275 yesterday acted as a point of resistance there. 275 in the pre-market and the after-hours session acting as a point of resistance. So the only thing that we're looking for today is a break of 275. It's very straightforward, very easy, nothing kind of complicated or crazy about this. If we get a break of 275, we've got to trade topside. If not, no trade. And you may want to note Apple has been making these higher lows up to that point of resistance right there. The top line I don't want to give focus to because we've already talked about it, but here's the deal. Apple, if it's going to break 275 and continue this trend, it does need to continue to make higher lows. All right, so this is your low. This would be your low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, correct? Let's circle it so it makes it very clear. These are all of your higher lows on this trend up. We'll extend this line back, and you get the idea. So that means that on any lower low, this uptrend here is broken, and the stock is no longer moving up. It would be on a downtrend. Therefore, Apple needs to hold above 273 for us to be bullish. So you can set a short level at 273 if you would like. I'm not going to set that because it's not a high probability setup for me to the short side. It is a high probability setup for me to the long side. So I'm only going to rock with the long level today. I just wanted to point that out to you, that Apple, though, in the bullish scenario today, does need to maintain higher lows. That is something that we need to see. All right, next on the watch list. Bum, bum, bum. It's NVIDIA. NVIDIA next on the watch list, post-earnings trade idea. Pretty flat, actually. I think that they blew expectations out. I think they beat expectations. I don't want to say they blew it out of the water, but I think that they beat on every category. I'd have to go back and double check, but I'm fairly certain that's what I saw. But yet the stock is not, it's relatively unchanged. And why could that be? Why do you think that is? Probably because NVIDIA is already so expensive, and maybe it's not a good buy price, right? Just overall, just from an investor's standpoint, maybe this stock is already maybe this earnings report was already priced in a way, if that makes sense. But we can still trade it. We can still make something happen. So what do we got going on? Well, pre-market resistance is pretty clear at 199. You have a whole number at 200. That is there. So where do we go long? It's either 199 or 200. I'm fine with either one of those levels. I think that we probably could be aggressive on this today at 199. And what I would maybe look for here is something where this opens up, maybe breaks 199, runs to 200 or 201, and then pulls back on a flex through 200, and we can take that dip entry off of 199 for a possible re-break of the move back up. So that's the ideal scenario there. That doesn't have to happen, but ideally that's what I'd like to look for. So I'm going to go aggressive on the long level today with NVIDIA and place my level at $199. If you want to be a little more conservative, that's fine. Place it at 200. You don't need to go all the way up to 203, though. I don't think that that's necessary. So as long as this stays above 200, we could be bullish. Below it, obviously bearish. Now, where do you place the short level? Pre-market low, after hours low, is 193. Your low of day from prior is 194. And if we pull 194 back, you're getting a lot more reaction around 194 than you are around 193. So I like the short level at 194. The deal is, for me, on NVIDIA, with the gap up this morning, though it's not a huge gap up, it is still a gap up. It does need to stay above the previous day's closing price. Otherwise, any drop below that PDC, and I will start to look to take this short. But my confirmation for my entry will be closer to 194. I'm just saying I'll start to feel bearish on it the moment that it breaks that level right there, which is 195.5. Right? So NVIDIA needs to stay above the PDC for me to maintain any sort of bullish bias on this today. Up next is Microsoft, MSFT. So similar situation where this is now reclaimed. If you look to the right here, it is now reclaimed the $400 hold number in the pre-market session. Therefore, yesterday's high of day placed at 402, we're going to look to take it long above 402. The daily time frame, this stock's pretty beaten up, and I'm feeling like a break of this downtrend trend line with a higher high could send us on a reversal move. I'm not saying I'm overall or net bullish on Microsoft. I'm just saying in the short term, maybe today, tomorrow, maybe for the rest of this week, we can be bullish if this downtrend trend line is broken and if Microsoft can stay above 400. So I'm not looking to take Microsoft short today because this doesn't feel bearish to me at all. All that I'm looking to do is, or all that I'm looking for, rather, on Microsoft is, can it hold above 400 or not? If it can, yeah, then I'll look to take a trade topside. If not, who cares, right? There's no short setup here for me today on MSFT. AMD, on the other hand, there is a short setup here. I put AMD on the focus list because I was wondering if this was going to move in sympathy with NVIDIA. And in fact, it kind of looks like it's doing the opposite. It looks like it's not, it's moving the opposite way of NVIDIA. But here's the deal. On the daily time frame for AMD, you have a gap at 190, but most recently, remember this gap up here, you've got a gap underneath 206.5. So when we go back to the 5-minute time frame, where is AMD trading at in relation to this gap? Just above it, right? Just above that gap. So we can go short at 206.5 if you'd like, or you can go short at 206 if you just want to make it a nice kind of round, even level for yourself. I like to be a little more conservative. I've mentioned that before, so I don't mind the short level placed right at whoops, I deleted the wrong thing. I don't mind the short level placed right at 206. So that is what I'm looking for on AMD today. It is going to be a breakdown. So it's already a gap down this morning. It is going to be a breakdown lower under the pre-market lows into the gap area, and I'll be looking for that gap fill to happen. The bottom of the gap, where is it? It should be 200, right? Yeah, right at the $200 whole number. So your price target below, if AMD does sell and we take this short under 206, this has room down to 200. It could get there. AMD can make big moves. I don't know if it's going to be that aggressive of a sell-off today. I'm just saying it's a possibility. So 200 will be my price target underneath 206. I don't know if I'll hold all the way down to 200, but I'm just saying the overall price target, it has room to get there, right? So that does become our profit margin. Up next on the watch list is AMD. So the analysis that we did prior on AMD is, sorry, did I say AMD? Amazon, AMZN, Amazon. The analysis that we did on Amazon prior is back in play. Remember, we were looking for the move up to that gap area and then into the gap area for the partial gap fill. Well, Amazon has recovered from this sell-off day here. It has recovered back up to this static area of resistance, and the next price target above is 213 for the bottom side of that gap. So back to the 5-minute time frame. Yeah, this analysis is very simple. Look, resistance, 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 resistance. We're looking for the break of the resistance. Long idea above 211.5, 211.5. Very, very simple. Sometimes you do not need to overcomplicate your trading plan. If something is as simple as look for a break of the resistance and take a trade, then rock with it. You don't need to you don't have to go crazy with it. You don't have to go overly, be overly complicated. Back to the daily. No, we'll stay on the 5-minute actually. Next one on the watch list is Hood. I changed my mind. I do need to go back to the daily here to show you this. Hood, when we originally analyzed it at the beginning of the week, we were looking for the break of the resistance at 78 for the run up to the gap at 80. This is a very similar setup to Amazon, where it started off just under a static resistance. All we needed to look for was a break of the static resistance to get us to the gap. It is the same exact setup, though they're at different price points, it is the same exact setup here, the same exact trade idea. So back to the 5-minute time. Now you see the resistance, right? Resistance at 78, resistance at 78, resistance at 78. Back to the 5-minute time frame. Where is this stock trading at? Just under that resistance at 78. So the only thing that we're looking for today on Hood is a break of 78 for a run up to the bottom side of the gap, which is going to be placed at $80. And then above 80, we can readjust, but the plan here is to get us to 80 first, and then after that, we'll decide what we want to do with it. Up next, and this is the final one on the watch list for today, is PLTR. I remember specifically talking about this yesterday morning, and I said, PLTR looks pretty good for a break of the downtrend trend line. This line I drew yesterday in the pre-market session with you live. I have not moved it or touched it or adjusted it or placed it today. That line that's been there. So yesterday when I said this looks pretty good for a topside move and then I didn't put it on the watch list, look at what we got. Opening dip, yeah, holds the PDC, and then a topside move. Break of the pre-market high, break of the high of day, rally up, perfect pullback retest of the prior high of day as a point of support. So this is your resistance that then flips support. An entry off of this price point at 132 would have worked beautifully for a move topside. So with our new resistance now being placed at $136, this looks pretty good for a continuation today. This setup here is one of my favorite setups, not necessarily on PLTR in particular. I'm just talking about the formation of this setup. This is called the fishhook pattern. I've mentioned it before. I'm going to mention it again. I'll probably mention it every single time that I see it because it is a great learning lesson. And the more times that you see something like this, it's going to keep imprinting this image into your brain so that you learn to recognize it. Fishhook pattern. So it looks like this. Well, that's kind of ugly. It looks like this, right? So you have a stock that runs, hits a point of resistance, stock that runs, hits a point of resistance and pulls back, but holds the majority of the gains for the day. So if you invert this, kind of looks like a fishhook, doesn't it? That's why I call it the fishhook pattern. So why this is high probability is because there's an ebb and flow in the market. Very rarely do you see stocks move in a linear fashion. It's very rare that a stock will just run without a pullback. So when a stock runs, great. You get the pullback, great. The next leg, after you get the run and pullback, your next leg is this. You're just looking for the top side. So we've got phase 1 completed on the run, phase 1 completed on the run, phase 2 completed on the pullback, phase 2 completed on the pullback. So all that we are looking for here is going to be phase number 3. On PLTR, can we get phase 3 out of this today and the top side continuation? That is what we're looking for. PLTR long above 136. I don't want to be aggressive on this because of where this is trading at on the daily. I don't feel a need to be aggressive and set that long level any earlier than a break of yesterday's high of day. So that is what I need to see to get confirmation out of this. And please remember this pattern. There's not a lot of people out there that talk about this pattern. It's not a very popular pattern. I don't even know if it's an official pattern, but it is one that I've recognized over years and years and years of experience, and I should probably patent this pattern because I've never heard anybody else talk about it. But this pattern right here, this formation is a high probability setup for a continuation going into today. So PLTR, long idea, above $136. All right, that is it. So that is our full watch list for today. Let me make sure all of our levels are good. We'll do a quick review. If you're just tuning in, you're late, but it's okay. You can watch this stream back from the very beginning. So SPY, long above 695, short below 690. Apple long above 275, looks good. NVIDIA long above 199, short below 194, looks good. Microsoft long above 402. Okay, so this needs to be adjusted. This is why we do this. So any move above the pre-market high at this time, we just going to slide that line up to the pre-market high. So this needs to be adjusted to 403. And we're only looking for the long level there, so that looks good. AMD below 206 looks good. Amazon above 211.5 looks good. Hood above 78 looks good. And then we got PLTR above 136. That also looks good. So here is your full watch list for today. By the way, if you're new to the Discord server, welcome in. We are trading live today, but we're not going to trade live here on YouTube. We are going to trade live. Oh, give me 1 second. I got to reply to this text. Sorry about that. My boss is texting me, aka my wife. Okay, so yes, we are not trading live on YouTube because there's a delay. I can't control that delay. Delays are no good for us. As day traders, we need real-time information. So we are going to trade live in the Discord server. Here's how you're going to navigate there. In the Discord server, scroll all the way down to the bottom left-hand side of the server. You're going to see a channel called the Arena. Right here, under Voice Channels heading, the Arena. This is where you will join in. Click on the Arena, join in. You're going to see people here piled in already. That is where we will conduct the live trading. So join me in the Arena. It is early right now. It's only 9 a.m. on the East Coast. I'm going to give it about 20 minutes before I join into the Arena and get things started. But this is where we will conduct the live trading right here. Top stock pick of the day. Man, I don't really have one. I think that these are all pretty good setups. I like Apple because of the momentum that it's had recently. I like NVIDIA because of the earnings report. Microsoft obviously looks strong in the pre-market. AMD looks good as a hedge play under 206. And, you know, the side charts also look pretty good, but I can't pick one out of these. So my plan today is just to keep an open mind, trade what moves, and ignore what doesn't. And I'll be here in the Arena to walk you through the price action in real time so we can identify all the opportunities that are being presented together. Cool? All right. Thank you for your time. By the way, tomorrow is Friday. I don't think I'm going to trade live tomorrow. Normally, if you're new to the server, I know that that's not what you want to hear. Normally, I don't trade live on Fridays anyways. I really don't trade Fridays. I like to take Friday off for myself and just enjoy the perks of being a day trader. So we'll see how today goes. If we have a good day today, it's going to be likely that I don't trade live tomorrow. Plus, we've got the account challenge starting next week, and that's going to be a whole extra slew of work for me that I need to kind of mentally prepare for. So I think taking a day off on Friday might help me mentally reset and get my mind frame right for getting to work on Monday and hitting the charts hard and starting off this account challenge right. So just a heads up for anybody that's new, don't take that as a I just joined and this guy's taking days off. Please don't take it that way. You have plenty of stuff to do here if you're brand new on a Friday, and you don't need me here for you to do or complete that stuff. So if you've just joined and you've not completed the course on WAP, that is going to be your homework for tomorrow and for this weekend. Start on it at a minimum. You don't have to complete the whole thing, but the faster that you get through that information on the WAP course, the better prepared, the more prepared you're going to be for this account challenge and for this Discord server and for the way that we trade. You're going to start understanding these concepts and strategies a lot quicker because they're already explained to you there in that WAP course. So I highly recommend, start on that WAP course. Don't be upset if I'm taking tomorrow off. Use that time wisely to enhance your trading knowledge. Everything is here for you that you need to be successful. You just got to apply yourself and go learn it. All right. Thank you for your time this morning. I hope the review has helped. I will see you over in the Discord server. Give me about 15 to 20 minutes. I'll meet you there. Cool. All right. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the day. And I will see you in the Discord server very, very soon. Cheers.